Hello and welcome to More Than Footy, your official Sydney Swans podcast, brought to you by Bing Lee. I'm your host, Tom Chadwick.
I'm Caitlin Scolari.
Caitlin, what did you make of the Swans Bombers game on the weekend? Gee, it was frustrating.
It was very frustrating, wasn't it? You just thought we had our moments and kind of just let them slip in those little moments. But we look forward to this Friday,
Yes, of course, we've got Marngrook at the SCG against Carlton. But firstly, let's talk about and introduce one man who had a really important and a significant milestone against the Bombers in James Jordon. James, welcome on the podcast and congrats for knocking over 100 games.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. It's good to be here.
What was it like, mate? Tell us about the build-up to the milestone and what happened in the rooms beforehand.
Yeah, it's a pretty special week, I guess, and something I sat back and sort of reflected it once it happened. But yeah, Rowie sort of presented me 100 games jumper, which is pretty special. We played TAC Cup together, and he's been one of the, my good mates since moving up here, and yeah, it was a pretty special moment, and it was in front of my friends and family. Unfortunately for the result, but to get 100 games, it's pretty special.
It's very, very special. I guess on your journey, you grew up playing in Yarrawonga, and then you were drafted. Did you think footy was always going to be your career?
Nah, not necessarily. I guess it was, footy in the winter, cricket in the summer, and that's how it was. just growing up, and it probably wasn't until I was about 18 when I started sort of speaking to a few clubs, and that was sort of pretty easy decision to go down one path. So that's sort of, how it all worked out.
Yeah, you don't surprise me as someone, and I mean this with absolute respect because you're such a hard worker is my point. You don't strike me as someone at 12, 14, 15 was always destined to play AFL. You mentioned just then it was only when you got to 18, but when did you really think, geez, I'm actually good enough here, I might make a career out of this?
Yeah, it was not until my year 12 year when I was boarded at Caulfield Grammar for year 11 and 12, and my year 12 year, I had a pretty good start to the year, and then started getting a little bit of interest from AFL clubs, and that's when I sort of, light bulb moment sort of was like, oh, might be a chance here. So, it was probably, till that year.
Yep. And you grew up a Swans fan?
I did. My cousin was up here in 2005 for a year, Adam Pryor.
Okay.
And then my real junior club, Corryong, they were red and white.
And I've heard there's a photo of you, is it with Barry Hall? Leo Barry, sorry. Yeah. And then you have a Kirky badge?
Yeah, and a Ryan O'Keefe badge, yeah.
And so growing up...
It's almost destiny.
Yeah. Growing up in Yarrawonga, did you feel as though you were the outsider, given you going for a non-Victorian team?
Yeah, a little bit. We'd sort of, travel down every now and then to a Swans game, and, I was growing up as a young kid, it's pretty special and pretty surreal. But yeah, a little bit.
Can you remember your first Swans game in Melbourne?
I think we went to, I think it was a Swans Hawthorn game when I would have been, or a Swans St Kilda game maybe.
Okay.
I was very, very young, and I think we went down for the parade in 2012. The grand final, we were there. We didn't go to the game, but we just went to the parade, and I think it was pouring rain that day. And,
that sounds about right.
Mum sat out there with me, and I had the best day.
Oh, awesome.
How good are mums, especially off the back of Mother's Day?
Yeah.
Did she play a big role in footy?
Yeah, absolutely. Did everything for me growing up. Driving. When I was at school in Melbourne, she'd come down, make the 3-hour drive down every weekend just to watch me play footy, watch me play cricket. So, being an only child, it's pretty special.
When did you move to Melbourne for schooling?
Year 11.
Okay. Was that on a scholarship?
Yeah, just like a boarding, in the boarding house there. So, it's good.
You mentioned you played TAC Cup with Rowie. What about other boys you got drafted with, or other boys at school that you got drafted with?
Yeah, so I've Jack Ross, who's at Richmond, and then I'm good mates with Elijah Hollands, who plays at Carlton, who we play this week. So.
I saw you guys in the rooms. I saw you guys in the rooms chatting. I was like, hang on.
Yeah, so we were
Carlton player. What's going on here?
Yeah, in boarding school together. So that's how that friendship was made.
Did you get any inside info for Friday night?
No, he was asking me. He was just like, so what are you guys doing next weekend? And no, he's pretty funny. He's a good fella.
Okay then, so drafted to Melbourne and a premiership player in 2021, but it's a strange one because back then there was a Medi sub, so you could only come on when there was an injury. There was no injury in the game, so you watched essentially a premiership on the bench. Was it a bittersweet feeling in that sense?
Yeah, definitely, but I think I sort of looked at it as a whole year perspective, and I felt like I played pretty much majority of the year, pretty much every game, and I was able to get on in the prelim as well. But I was just super happy just to be a part of that group, and you you'd definitely rather be a part of it than not be.
Yeah.
So, it was a pretty special time. And although it was COVID, it was a bit of a different sort of experience, but no, it's still something I hold dearly.
Yep. And then how did the trade to this club come about?
It's probably just sort of the back end of 23, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We sort of sat down with my manager, and I was a bit in and out of the team and stuff like that. So, and then he sort of said that there was an opportunity just to, have a look around, and I had a meeting with Horse and Kinnear and Charlie, and I walked out of that meeting pretty set on that I wanted to come up here, and
Yep.
It was a pretty easy decision in the end.
Tell us about how that courting comes about. Who approaches who first? Was it your manager that went to the Swans, or did Kinnear? Because it was my understanding that Kinnear during your draft year was a huge fan of you. Who comes to who first?
Well, I think the managers, they're in constant dialogue with a lot of clubs, and constant conversations there. And I think they were just having a conversation one day, and I'm not sure who come to who, but they organised a meeting, and the rest is history.
Works out for us.
Oh,
We love having you here. Do you love the Sydney lifestyle? Like, have you?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
in?
I hadn't really spent too much time up here before I obviously come up here, but I'm loving it. It's pretty relaxing, and it's a good outlet as well from the rigours of footy.
So what's your situation? So whereabouts you're living in Sydney? Do you have a partner?
I'm in Randwick just with my partner Emily. Which is a great spot. 5 minutes to training, 5 minutes to the beach. It's really close to everything. So I'm really enjoying it.
And your role at the Swans, tell us about that. You've been nicknamed the padlock, given your ability to shut down the opposition player. Do you relish that opportunity of taking on some of the competition's best?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably sort of come about in a funny way. It was just one day Horse just sort of said to me that, you go and play on Noah Anderson, and I felt like I did a pretty good job that day, and then it just sort of flowed on from there. And I enjoy it. I'm a pretty competitive person, and I feel it helps me get better as a footballer as well. And I really enjoy coming up against some of the the best players in the competition.
So just going back to that, so you were just playing your role as a sort of a pressure forward, if you will. Then Horse came and said, "I want to give you a job." You did so well, and you've essentially made your last year and a half as a career as a tagger from one game. Is that how it unfolded?
Yeah, I guess so. I felt like I did a pretty good job that game,
right.
and then I've been able to do a pretty good job since, I feel like, and whatever helps the team, I guess.
Do you have a job for Friday night yet? Has Coxie told you?
Nah, not yet.
Not yet.
Who do you think you'll get?
I played on Sam Walsh last time.
Okay.
We played there, but they've got a lot of good players. Cripps is in there, and he's having a pretty good year. So
Who's the hardest opponent you've come up against?
Nick Dacos, I reckon. He's a pretty special player. I think he's going to go down as one of the greats, I reckon.
And what's his strengths? I mean, clearly he runs all day, but is it his running patterns? It is his skills, work
he's
ethic?
very quick off the mark, and very nippy around the stoppages, and he's so clean as well, and he's a quality player for a reason, and they always look to bring him into the game as well, and that definitely makes it hard.
But you also managed to kick quite a few goals for a tagger. Is that something that you pride yourself on?
Yeah, something I've probably worked on in the last sort of 12 months as well is, I sort of want to be able to go both ways and, have that impact going forward. And I feel like, I've played on a few half-backs during my time tagging. So, I feel like if I can hit the scoreboard as well, it goes a long way in helping the team to win games.
Is there a goal that stands out for you, like your favourite goal you've ever kicked?
The first one's always pretty special.
What was it?
I think that was against Essendon.
For us or Melbourne?
For us.
Okay.
For us, yeah. The first one for Melbourne was pretty special too, my first game as well.
I kicked a goal in your first game?
Yeah, against Freo. I think it was a Sunday Arvo at the G. Was there, but then always, my first one up here against Essendon.
Round 2 or
round
last
2,
year?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
Like out far on the 50 dribbling almost? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey,
about 6 rows back, I think.
Yeah, exactly right. Hey, obviously Sir Doug Nicholls round in Marngrook at the SCG for the Sydney Swans this Friday night. We spent an off-site at Redfern learning more about Indigenous culture and the history of Redfern in Sydney. Did you enjoy that experience?
Yeah, it was a great afternoon. We got to have the whole day there, and I haven't really spent too much time in Sydney, and to sort of experience Redfern and what they had to offer. It was what they've got there is pretty nice, and it was good. We did a few activities and sort of cultural activities that was great just to open our eyes a bit.
How'd you go with the fire making?
No, I was
No good?
No, I was no good.
Dancing?
Yeah, no.
Better at
Ollie
that.
Florence took the cake with the dancing. He was very good.
That's unreal.
Okay, so just some interest outside of footy. Tell us about James Jordon, the non-footballer. What do you get up to on your weekends or your days off?
Plenty of time at the beach now that I've got that here. Any other sport, the NBA finals are on at the moment, so pretty invested in watching that. I go for the Cavs, but they're not looking too great at the moment. But no, that's all right. Bit of golf, just anything social, I guess. And I'm doing uni at the moment, just doing a Bachelor of Business, so ticking along at that, which is good.
Whereabouts?
At Torrens.
And so what's your end goal when you're 40 or 50 or 60? What do you want to be doing for work if you're doing business?
I'm not too sure yet. That's
fine.
That's why I sort of kept it pretty broad. Was able to, then I feel like that just keeps it pretty open to something that I want to do post footy. So just to have that there would be nice.
Yep. We spoke about like your premiership success with Melbourne before. What do you think this team needs to get our premiership success?
Oh, I think you've seen last year our ability to make it to the grand final, and we probably just didn't play the way that we wanted to on the day. But I feel like we've got the players, the coaches around us to be a very successful team, and I think you've seen that in a lot of the boys re-signing over the last few years, and everyone's got the same goal and a whole heap of faith in what we can do, and I feel like it's going to be pretty special over the next few years.
All right, now, JJ, before we wrap up, we'd like to play a little game. It's called our favourites segment. So we're going to ask you some short, rapid fire questions.
Don't think too hard.
Don't think, just answer.
Answer straight away.
Are we ready to go?
Do you want me to kick it off?
Fire away.
All right, okay. Who is your favourite Swans teammate?
Rowie.
Who's your favourite Sydney Swans employee?
Benny Matthews.
Good one
Smart
for Benny.
too.
Yep, smart. Yep.
Get the coaches on side. Genius.
Your favourite non-Swans AFL team?
Melbourne.
Mm-hmm. What's your favourite public holiday?
Oh, public holiday.
Or holiday season?
Anzac Day. I used to play at Melbourne. We used to have Anzac Day Eve.
Of course. God, a lot of the players say Anzac Day, don't they?
That was a pretty special
evening
game to play in.
Tell us about that. And the horse goes around.
Yeah, the horse goes around. Yeah.
No, it's fantastic the way they do it.
It's goosebumps sort of stuff when you're lining up there and the national anthem, and it's a pretty special game to be a part of.
Be pretty surreal with 100,000 people silent.
Yeah.
I think that's always the bit that gets me, is just how many people can be that silent, and then next minute it's a roaring crowd.
The roar's pretty special.
Yeah.
It's an amazing game to be a part of.
Yep. Okay, next one. Favourite moment at the Swans?
My first game. Well, there's a couple of the finals as well were pretty special.
Which one?
The ones at the Giants one, obviously.
Giants. Oh, that was a good game.
SCG, yeah. I think a lot
I
of
hate bringing it up. I wasn't there. I hate bringing it up.
So
I wasn't there.
It was in the air.
I was in the air
wow.
on a flight watching it.
No.
Shaking,
Wi-Fi dropping in
crying,
and out.
Wi-Fi.
A few of those games were pretty special, pretty loud.
Do you like cooking, and what's your favourite dish?
I'm not too bad. I feel like I go through phases of cooking.
Okay.
Like a chicken stir fry.
Easy.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Healthy,
Yep.
smart.
What's just overall favourite footy memory?
Oh, the premiership in 21, that was pretty special.
Favourite holiday destination? Anywhere in the world?
New York City.
Why is it New York?
Just so much to do there. I went there 2 years ago, and you could spend a whole lot of time. There's so much to do. A lot of people watching, and a lot of sport as well. American sports I love that.
What was the highlight of going to New York? What sports did you catch up with?
We went to opening night of the NBA, so that was pretty cool.
Knicks or Nets?
Went to the Barclays to watch Nets, Cavs.
Nice.
And
How'd you get tickets to that?
Just bought them.
Is that simple, Chatty?
I can't imagine they would have been cheap.
No, they were not too bad. Then we went to a few NFL games when we were over there as well.
Who's your NFL team?
Dallas Cowboys.
Me too.
Oh, really?
I'm mainly for the cheerleaders, but
Since the doco?
no, since
before that.
always.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, we went to...
We might as well share this now. Caitlin is a former cheerleader.
Oh, there you go.
NRL.
Yeah.
I wish I was a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, but that's a different dream, different lifetime. Moving on, because that's awkward. Weekend activity, favourite weekend activity?
Just going to the beach, cafe time. Enjoy that.
Great stuff. Well, JJ, congratulations again on 100 games, mate. It's not to be taken lighthearted. That is a fantastic effort. We love having you here at the Swans, and good luck on Friday night against the Blues.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
JJ.
it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lionel Lee, and we're proud to be a sponsor. Bingley has been around since 1957, and I'm proud to say we're still family owned. Our team is over 720 people now, and there's one thing they all believe in. We treat our customers like their family. That's the Bingley way.